Hi, everybody. This is Joel Simmons for another EarthWorks Turf Talk. And this week, I had the great pleasure of interviewing my dear friend Dave Wilber on the EarthWorks podcast. And Dave has a new gig. Dave is now working with the sensoring program called TurfRad, and it's a tool that can be mounted on the front of your tractor on a utility vehicle. And as you move down a fairway or across a piece of property, you're going to be able to monitor the moisture levels down to 4 inches on that particular piece of property. It takes as many as 7 snapshots per second. So in a fairway, you might get 10,000 pieces of data that gets downloaded to your computer and mapped. And then you can start to really understand where are the hot spots, where are things too wet. And it provides the superintendent great information on managing the property to its fullest. Take a listen to this little clip, and if you have the chance, please listen to the entire podcast this week with Dave Wilber talking about TurfRad.
And then I get a phone call from a friend who says, I want to introduce you to the TurfRad guys. And I had heard about TurfRad, and I was like, oh man, I like what those guys are doing. You know, the whole idea of moisture, but I didn't understand the technology or anything. So I ended up speaking with Derek Houtz, who's the PhD, who's, you know, an astrophysicist, right? And the founder of TurfRad. And I knew that they had been working with this with, you know, a few PGA Tour stops, and that there were a few clients scattered around the country. I knew that they were working with the task tracker people here in the States, and you know, I knew little bits and pieces, but I didn't really understand the tech, right?
Yeah.
So I started asking the questions, and I get the full rundown, the full-on geek rundown, and I'm like, God, this is brilliant. I mean, so you're telling me this sensor, you know, can read moisture to 4 inches, no matter what the terrain is like. You know, it's just going to go over it. And understanding L-band microwave, understanding that the microwave hits, and there's a, you know, and it's a, you know, one-way communications at a certain
That's
frequency.
the technology, is L-band microwave.
L-band microwave. So essentially, just like microwave penetrates my food in the microwave,
Yeah.
you know, it's a similar sort of situation, and it's on a very narrow frequency. And essentially what it is the sensor is the very same sensor that is on a satellite way up there, but that satellite can measure moisture on a 25 square kilometer basis, right?
Wow.
So if you bring the sensor down closer to Earth, then it can, you know, then it has a resolution of like a meter.
Yeah.
You know, soon to be, when RTK corrections come in, all that sort of stuff, soon to be centimeter grade. And so I'm listening to this, and then they're showing me the mapping that goes with it, because mapping is a big part of this. So the sensor essentially is measuring 7 readings a second as it goes along. And so like a typical fairway might have 10,000 readings on it. So as soon as Derek Houtz said that to me, I just stopped him and I said, wait a minute. So I have let me just I need to understand this in my turf head brain.
Right.
So I love the TDR. We've been working with TDRs. And so you're telling me that this thing can essentially give me a TDR reading 10,000 times on
every couple of inches, essentially, on a fairway?
Yeah.
I mean, is that essentially what we're looking at? Every
7 readings a second. So think about a mower going along at mower speed. Every second, it's going to take 7 readings, and all this is flowing into, you know, the software that converts it to mapping. Right.
Well, let's go back just a second, Dave, so everybody understands the value of TurfRad. This is a mounted piece of equipment on the mower, on the front of the mower.
On the front of a mower, you can mount it on a utility vehicle and drive along. It doesn't matter what.
You can mount it on anything. But you know, you got the mowers out there every day anyway. That seems to be the common practice, is they put it on.
And for the guys that don't mow every day, they can throw it on a utility vehicle and
perfect. Just drive
and just go drive.